Oh boy, what a week. What a week it's been this week. Welcome to the chat, everybody. This is the Friday night live stream. This is a lot of fun. Get ready for it. We're going to have a great time. But why don't you guys come on in here? Come on. There we go. There's the chat. We got a bit of a thing happening in there. What's this? The poll? A poll? Did Mark Carney bow to Donald Trump after talking tough in front of all the Canadian public? Is that the case? Well, that's the poll going on right now. So far, it's 95% yes. Leave your vote in there. Get on in there. Clyde lives. That's right. I survived it. I didn't. I almost bit it this week. Holy cow! Was that ever a close call? Boy, and I got the marks to show it and all that stuff. We can talk all about it. That's going to be a thing. It's just been too busy to really even get to it. Getting to everything else. Getting to everything. Absolutely everything else. But hey, why don't I make this bigger so I can actually read the chat? That would be helpful entirely. Let me get this windowed projector up here and make it larger so my dim little eyes that I almost had taken out by my own glasses this week can read this. This is where we're at. This is a thing. This is something. Obviously, you guys saw the title. The title, it just kind of, these jokes kind of write themselves, you know? Oh man, we're gonna get into some of that. It's funny. It's funny. Have a laugh because there's nothing else you could do. Wow, there's other things we can do, but it's good to be able to have a laugh about it. I hope everyone's brought their wobbly pops. I know I've brought mine. If you've got one, now's the time to crack it or forever hold your peace. But this is what we're getting into today. It's been a wild one. It's been a wild week. I started off the week pretty well. How's the face? How's the face? Well, there's the question. There it is. Started off the week with a bang. Let's just say. So Monday, you know, put my first Monday video out that I actually recorded on Sunday of last week. And what do you know? What do you know? Monday was a pretty hectic day. Holy, I got an itch on my back. Suddenly, it's the whole dad thing. I don't know. I think every dad should have one of these things. It's just so great. A Phoenix Zen. Hi, Clyde and everyone. I think I pronounced your name right this time too. I think I nailed it. I think I absolutely nailed it this one. Clyde's wife beats him. I wish it were that easy. No, that's not the case. But no. So for those that don't know, I got in a car wreck on Monday, and that was quite the experience. It really was. It really puts your life into perspective when you have a situation like that. It was a freak accident, you know, just driving on the highway and lost control, went over an embankment, down in through a bunch of small trees. So lucky was no big trees, anything like that. And very lucky actually, because if it would have happened 10 seconds before, I would have ended up off sort of a cliff and into a creek bed just full of rocks and boulders. If I would have gone off 10 seconds after, it would have been much the same. So somebody was looking over my shoulder, but went off the road and went into the weeds, and holy cow, just started bracing, and started hitting trees, started hitting all kinds of things, and everything was just breaking. I could just hear the car crunching and crackling and all of this stuff happening. And then finally, boom, comes to a dead stop. And when it came to a stop, all the airbags went off. Everything smashed my glasses, broke my glasses. Luckily, I have a second pair. And they're my readers. I got my optometrist to move the lenses over so I can have these for when I'm going down to Texas on Monday. But yeah, that's the thing. What make of car? It was a Honda Pilot. And yeah, that thing saved my life. Yeah, it totally saved my life. It went off the road. I don't know if it was because of the car, but all the safety features definitely saved my life. So Just, yeah, absolutely thankful for that. But yeah, like I said, it puts. Are there car scene photos? I didn't even think to take car scene photos. My face was bleeding profusely. I was just trying to get out of the car. I had to try to find my glasses. Are you okay now, Clyde? Yes, I'm okay. Like this is about the most severe damage I got. You can see there are the glasses. I can do a zoom in. Look at that. That's where the wow. That's where my glasses broke and it got lacerations on the face because of that. Got some whacked right in the nose. Obviously started pouring immediately, and yeah, bruises and whatnot. You know, your typical bruises. I have this really, you can see that. So when an airbag goes off, there's a shell to the airbag. As it opens up, it really nails you. It has to open up in a fraction of a second. So hydroplaning, it was really bad here. I don't know. That could have been the case. So you know how when you're just mundane driving and you're not paying that much attention, you know you're driving and you're looking at the road, but you kind of zonk out or whatever, and you're just doing the actions. Well, next thing I knew, I was on the shoulder, and I was like, "What?" Tried to regain control, and it was lost at that point, and I was going off and into the weeds. So yeah, autopilot. You just go into autopilot mode, and it was one of those. You're healing nicely, Clyde. Good to see. My mom had major bruising from the airbag when she was 80 years old. Well, yeah, 80 years old. Holy cow. Took her weeks to get over it. I believe it. So I got that one bruise. That's yeah, I mean, it's pretty visible, right? That's pretty visible. So I got that. And then I also have a similar thing on my shoulder from the pretensioner. So cars, for those that don't know, excuse me while I scratch my eyeball. Why is that so itchy all of a sudden? If you don't know, cars don't only have airbags in the steering wheel. They have airbags in the sides of the seat. They have airbags in the skirt. They call it a skirt airbag. It's on between the A and B pillar. That's across the top of the window. So there's a side skirt airbag there, as well as in the seatbelt ratcheting mechanism that's down in the floor. There's what's called a pretensioner. And what it does is it actually has a charge, like a pyrotechnic charge, that fires when all the other airbags go off, and it actually forces the seatbelt back further it forces you back further into the seat. So that's another thing, and that one gave me a big bruise on the shoulder. So that's a thing. Did you hear about Liberal MP Paul Chang's Hong Kong $1 million bounty on CPC MP Joe Tay's head? I'm gonna have to look that up. I didn't hear about this. Maybe let's maybe that's something we're gonna look into here during the stream. If there's new news, let's let's get into some of that. Holy cow. I know a lot of stuff is happening all at the same time. It's crazy, and thanks. Juno News got scalped. Got a scalp today. The creeper bowed out. Which creeper? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Yeah, Northern Perspective did a thing on it. Wow. All right, they did a thing on it. See Andy Lee. Andy Lee is like the go-to for anything China. I'm not kidding. This is a big thing. So what are we seeing here on Twitter? We're seeing Canada Proud saying Carney Liberal MP Paul Chiang reportedly told a Chinese language media outlet that you can claim the $1 million bounty if you kidnap Don Valley West Conservative candidate Joe Tay and bring him to Toronto's Chinese consulate. You can't be serious. That's insane. Here's Andy Lee. Andy Lee's always a great source for this stuff. She's fantastic. Incidentally, got the chance to meet her in Calgary Lovely lady. Absolutely lovely lady. Alberta Liberal MP Paul Chang received Chinese ambassador to Canada Wang Di last month. Also present John Callum. Okay. Okay, this is something I'm going to look more into this. That's insane. That's absolutely nuts. Clyde, do something. Moose on the Loose did a good video breakdown. Cool. Awesome. I've been focusing more on the Canada-U.S. relations stuff. So I'm glad we're what would you say? We're all hitting different beats, because that's always great. If we're all on the same beat, that would be too much on one thing. I'm definitely hitting the U.S.-Canada relations, especially with what's coming up this week. So for those that don't know, how many people are in the chat right now? By the way, when you come into the chat, hit that like button on the way in. Hit that like button on the way in. It helps a ton. I'm seeing a really terrible ratio. So get that coming in. Get that going. But for those that don't know, and there's a lot of new people that are hanging out in the chat tonight. Welcome to the channel. If you're not familiar with the channel, maybe you just stumbled on one of my videos, hit that subscribe, and now you're in the chat, the live chat. Welcome. My name's Clyde. This is the Clyde Do Something channel. This is the Friday night live stream. So this is a community event that happens every Friday night. We like to come in, hang out, and it's just me in the chat. So we'll go over some stories. We'll go over philosophy. We'll go over a bunch of stuff. I think Friday is a great night to kind of unwind, unpack the week, what's been going on throughout the week, and talk about these things, and in a lot more detail than you can in, say, a 10-minute video, or sometimes I'll be doing interviews and stuff, and it's less about my opinion in those. It's more about trying to find out what the other person's opinion is in all of that stuff. So after Trump saying you will meet Mark after the election, do you think is okay? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that because that's the big plan that I have to talk about tonight. But yeah, so for all those people that are just tuning in or new to the channel, or you haven't heard yet, Monday I'm going to be going to Texas. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I have this trip planned, and we're gonna be hitting the road in Texas. I want to ask Americans what they think of this whole situation, as well as allow Americans to understand a little bit more about what's actually happening in Canada. So I think a lot of them, for the most part, don't really care. I mean, and let's just be honest about that. But the curiosity has been spiking lately, and we've seen this a lot on podcasts. We've seen this a lot in mainstream podcasting. So mainstream news, they don't care. Why would they care? But generally people care because, Americans, they love Canadians. Like that's just been a long-standing thing. It's not always been reciprocal. I don't know. I won't understand that. For all those people that have animosity towards the United States, let it be known that it's not mutual. It's Americans typically just love Canada, love Canadians, and as of late, that sort of relationship's been sullied quite a bit, and I hate to see it. I don't want to see that. I want to see things return back to a good relationship, and I also want to help the Americans understand what's happening so that maybe they can help and encourage Canadians to possibly wake up, do the right thing. This is the way we do I guess diplomacy. So I guess I'm going on a diplomatic mission. Is that what it is? We've got, I don't know how to pronounce that. Is Defresh? I don't know. Defresnex? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. For $6.99, thank you so much. TGIF Friday, or TGIF Clyde. Did you see what Julian, the guy you had on recently, had to say caught on camera? If not, check out the Toronto Sun. Okay, I got to check out the Toronto Sun, but he was on to tell me what he was saying. So before I go check that out and see if it was being misrepresented or not. So what Julian was doing, he was door knocking. So I'm getting this from the horse's mouth, right? So he was door knocking, and he went and somebody said, "Oh, you know, your party thinks this or whatever." And so what he was trying to do is straw man the other point of view, and then immediately came in with his point of view. And what the guy who caught the video did was cut that off right at that point, and said that he was like anti-Semitic and all of this stuff. When in fact he's not. He's actually Jewish. This is the craziest part about the whole thing. And this is just how the internet culture has really shaped. Well, is it the internet culture? Or is this really just this weird cancel culture that we've been dealing with lately? Where you just catch the soundbite that you want, so that you can misrepresent the person intentionally. And yeah, Julian's getting all kinds of issues. Julian was on Ben Mulrooney today. Yes, yeah, I heard he was going to be. I didn't know it already happened and it went live. I want to check that out. Anyway, like, I disagree with Julian on political stuff. I don't agree with him politically. He's NDP. He's very much on the left, political left. I disagree with him on all that stuff, but he's a stand-up guy. I like him personally. I think he's a really nice guy. If they're saying that he's a anti-Semite, well, that's just wrong. That's just insane. But we know what that's like, right? The people on the right, or people politically right, or whatever you want to call it, people who just want to tell the truth. Yeah, Ukrainian Jewish. I tend to be left-wing because... Hold on, is that Shabbat? What is that? Shabbat Kobe? Is that you, Julian? I can't tell. Yeah, Ukrainian Jewish. That's what he told me yesterday. So, because of the fear of the clinkety clank funny mustache man resurrection. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I should check out the article on the Toronto Sun and see how accurate it is. And here's the thing, like, I have no reason to stick up for him. You know, if I was to do the like political thing that people do with the cancel culture, but I'm more interested in what's true. You know, I spoke to the guy personally. I know it to not be true. So that is what it is. Granite Man for $5. Carney talks Carney talks tough in Canada through Canadian media. With Trump, I'm sure he kissed the ring and stuttered wet himself. Carney has no cards to play. No, he doesn't. But you know what cards he has? It's the lying card. And then do the opposite of what he's actually. He's an economic hitman. You got to realize this. This is what Carney is. I are not Julian. I just pay attention. LOL. Okay, there you go. Okay, fair enough. I think if that was Julian, he would have his own name on the account. So that's fair. Well, that was the thing. So he's been on the internet long enough, and he's a tech guy, that all of his accounts, he said, I remember him telling me this, are all his actual name. So that's pretty awesome. For sure. I think Elon Musk sent Mark Carney a Tesla as a gift. Shut up, dude. That's funny if that's true. That's absolutely hilarious if that's true. Pierre must win Canada. Pierre to win. Yeah, there's going to be some real consequences. You know, if Carney wins, Alberta leaves. And I'm not kidding about that. I'm not being... what's Julian's line of work? He's a tech entrepreneur from the Silicon Valley. So he does tech business startups. That's what he does. And apparently he's fantastic at it. So, I mean, very successful. How's the face, Clyde? Looks okay. It's getting better. I still got the scars there to prove that it happened. I guess battle scars. Chicks dig scars, right? Well, the only one I care about is the chick I got at home. Alberta 51. That's the thing. And here's the thing: when people caught wind of that, This is part of that sort of accelerationism mindset. Is there's a lot of people in Alberta that are considering voting for Carney because of that. That's something else. David Alot, I remember that name. Clyde, what do you think about Pierre Poilievre's speech today? The speech that he did at on the island. The speech that he did on the island. I kind of skimmed through the speech and went right to the question and answer, because I know the speeches, they all kind of sound the same. I get he was talking about crime and punishment, right? And I you know, all of the rhetoric, like I like the rhetoric, all of that stuff. I wish he would do more than just go to these like daily speech things and 5 questions from the media. It's not much of a campaign in my honest opinion. I want to see him come out and do much more than that. I would like to see that. I think he would get a lot more attention, a lot more voters if he were to do that as well. Of course, I mean, he's got my support. His plan, his public forward-facing strategy is the right strategy for Canada, I believe. But what good is that? I'm already sold, right? If you've got my vote, you've already got it. If you got, you know, a bunch of people who watch the news every day, you got their vote, you got it. Of course, CBC is going to spin it. CTV is going to spin it. All of these agencies are going to spin it and make it look like Carney's the better man. You got to get out there and get ahead of that. I hope he does. I really hope he does. Scott G for 5 says Trump's position: keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's a very good point. Now, I mean, why don't we get into it? Why don't we just get into it? We're seeing this stuff now. So this is Pierre Poilievre tweeting this out. Thank you to the 5,500 extraordinary Canadians who came out in Surrey last night. Now, Surrey, a lot of people want to say that Surrey is left-leaning. That's like the big lefty central. Not necessarily. There's a big conservative contingency in Surrey. But that's a massive audience. Like, don't get me wrong. For a Canadian political rally, that is astronomical. This is kind of the first time we've ever seen anything like that. So that's great. That's great news. I'm actually excited about that. You're not seeing anything remotely close for Carney on that kind of thing. Ollie B with a $5 super chat says, do you think the call today with Carney Trump hurt or helped Poilievre with his comments? Also, Carney having a productive call. Well, just about to get into that, so I'm gonna definitely give my 2 cents on that in just 1 second here. So here's Poilievre's tweet talking about thank you to all the 5,500 extraordinary Canadians who came out to Surrey last night. 48 hours before they saw how much attendance was coming, and they had to change venues. So they literally had to book a different venue just to house as many people as they possibly could. And I think people were still outside and couldn't get in. It was really something else. Amazing Zoltan, all 4 ridings in Surrey went Liberal in 2021 federal election. Okay, that's fair. But by how much? Because I do know that there is a big contingency of conservatives in that area. And is that they went Liberal from conservative, or that they went Liberal? Yes, I did see that you were there, Alex. That's great. That's great. So did they go Liberal, or did they become Liberal in that vote? Because that was the COVID one. That was definitely a lot of people. It's kind of like looking at the conservative Ontario conservative vote right at the time of the Trump tariffs. Everyone be afraid and come rally around us, Team Canada. It was a similar sort of fervor at the time. So I mean, this is how they whip up elections in Canada. This is why, incidentally, I'm a big fan of scheduled elections, not these called elections when it's politically expedient for one party over another, that kind of thing, because they'll use that to skew things. The riding that he spoke at was 48, 6 NDP, 46 Conservative. You can say our BC election was fixed. Well, I'm not gonna say that, but I'm not gonna not say. Alex Zoltan, the Cloverdale riding went Conservative in a recent by-election. That's correct. That is correct. That was an interesting one because I was talking with Jeff Sanders of the Epic Times, and he was covering that. And he said nobody put any effort into it because they all knew that there was another election coming up soon, so they didn't want to spend a penny on it. In fact, I think the Conservatives, they just put out old signs from a previous election, and it was one of those. BC was so close. Wow, where did that go? So close that's when fixin's a risk. Yeah. That's why Trump's election was too big to rig. That was the whole idea. I emailed Don Stewart's office twice to get a Conservative lawn sign. Nothing yet. Yeah, they're very quiet. Hey, call them up. You get their number and stuff. They don't respond. Why? Why would that be? I kept hearing, just wait until the writ drops, and then we're gonna be doing all kinds of stuff. And then the writ dropped, and Shoilage. We have political rallies and speeches every other night, but that's just for a particular audience. It's one of those things. John Delorme with a $2 super chat says, I was at the rally last night. Absolutely unreal. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Is this Clyde or AI Clyde? Why would you ask that? Am I sounding robotic tonight? Am I doing the robotic thing? I don't know. Is it feeling that way? You can tell I'm real. If it bleeds, you can kill it. As they say. With the Predator, anyway. Pull up Alberta Prosperity Project website. Alberta's... Okay, that's on the list of things I wanted to talk about tonight. That we're going to get to that. I haven't even gotten to this part. The last super chat was about this. So anyone know why Donald Trump is working so hard to keep the WEF running in Canada? I thought Donald Trump hated the WEF and the Liberals, Bruce McConnell saying on X. Now, that interesting point there. Donald Trump saying, I just finished speaking with Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada. It was an extremely productive call. We agree on many things. And we'll be meeting immediately after Canada's upcoming election to work on elements of politics, business, and other factors that will end up being great for both the United States of America and Canada. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, what's he saying there? The crypticness. It's all cryptic, right? We're getting into like the cryptic nature of Donald Trump and what does he actually mean when he says it? Covfefe. It's Covfefe all over again. Oh, it's so crazy that it's Canada. Canada is doing the Trump derangement thing that was happening for the past 8 years down in America. It's really interesting. I follow a lot of American news. I love America. I'm a citizen of America, and all of that lovely stuff. But elbows up, elbows down, definitely the chicken dance. I like that. That's really good. But yeah, so Canada's going through this. Clyde GPT. Why is everyone getting the AI vibes from me tonight? I don't know if AI is that good yet. Is Trump using reverse psychology? See, here we go. What is he doing? What's happening? Why did he tweet that? Is there a reason why you put a comma in the middle of that sentence? The chicken dance was a good joke. That was really funny. Elbows flapping. Oh, yeah, it's like Flappy Bird, Flappy Canuck. We need another flag. A flag Carney. Oh, F Carney. Yeah, absolutely. Elbows inverted. Oh, ouch. 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 I don't like the elbows up thing. It just means like play dirty. Really? Is that our motto now? Play dirty? What's your take on it, Clyde? What's your take on it? Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it. My take. Well, let me pull up some stuff here because I wanted to talk about this. All my stuff is scattered. It's kind of all over the place. It really is all over the place. So first, my take starts from this position. So this is a tweet from Michael Barrett. Michael Barrett, of course, I like this guy, and I can't wait until he gets elected in a majority conservative party because I can't wait to message him and say I'm really excited to see your bill be reintroduced again, the one that got squashed by the Liberals, the one that will make punishments for lying under oath. That one I'm really excited about because it's already written, it's drafted, and it's really going to be a copy paste thing. Barrett's a good guy, but my fear is that some of the other members of the Conservative Party are going to poo-poo the idea, and I want to make sure he stays on it. I want him on task, on focus, because it was a good suggestion, it was a good bill, and I want to see that go through. So I'm all for that. I'm all for that one. But so here's his tweet. Leaked liberal plans from the media outlet that employs Carney's wife and his advisor, Jerry Butts. You remember, it's all the same people. Like they're trying to trick you to think that this whole new liberal administration is like some new gang. No, it's the same old gang. Just instead of the puppet at the front, we got the puppet master. He dropped the marionette strings and he's like, whatever, I'm gonna do the act. Okay, I'm gonna be the last one. Clyde got you funky last night. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Eurasia group. Perjury laws. Yes. Well, yeah, this is what that bill was all about. I'm gonna hold him to this one. Carney will quietly fold shortly after the vote and accept Trump's terms on tariffs. Carney is too weak to fight for Canada. See, this is the stuff that gets me annoyed a little bit, because as much as the Conservatives are very honest about a lot of things when it comes to fiscal stuff, when it comes to their stance on the trade tariffs, they're just as bad as the media on giving you the honest take of what's actually happening there. We're doing this all for like particular cartels and lobby groups and special interests in Canada, that if we just got rid of that, we would all be better off. And they're just it's such a political hot potato. They just don't want to. I don't want to touch that. I don't want to do that. I wish they had the guts to take them on. That would be great. But here he is. No wonder Trump endorsed him. America's largest trade partners, Mexico and Canada, are facing more significant trade pressures from the Trump administration. But the imbalance of power is such that they have no credible strategy to push back. Everyone understands they have to accept Trump's terms eventually. The only question is whether capitulation comes before or after a costly fight. So they're gonna capitulate. This is the thing. But they're using the Canadian public's what would you call it? Just their emotional response to this against the Canadian public. They're using your emotions against you. This is what they're doing. Riding on 85% job approval, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, Sheinbaum sounds very Mexican, has has enough domestic political space to yield to Trump's demands to keep Mexico in his good graces. as she's already doing. By contrast, Canadian leaders have a political incentive to put up a bigger fight because Trump's threats towards Canada's economy and sovereignty have sharply inflamed national sentiment. It has nothing to do with the reality of the situation. It's all about sentiment. It's all about how people are being manipulated. And if you're not on this stupid Team Canada thing, and I'm not saying being Team Canada is stupid, because if it's from a legitimate position, that's awesome. That's great. Be Team Canada. But if you're, all those people out there that didn't care, that hated the flag yesterday, wanted to cancel Canada Day, wanted to, get rid of all this stuff. We don't have a culture. We don't have any of this stuff. We're a post-national state. But then all of a sudden they have this national stuff because why we identify as not Americans. And I've always hated that sentiment because I am American. So that's my take on it. Myron Ans for $10 says, using all platforms, Winnipeg North opens up a new conservative office tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at 1883 Inkster, and PP has a rally at 1821 Wellington. Come on out. That's awesome. Okay, so he's going to be in Winnipeg. If you're in the Winnipeg area, make sure you get yourself out there. That'd be a lot of fun. I would have gone to the Surrey one, but I only got notified on it the day, and I had a podcast planned. So that would have been fun. I would have been able to go meet up with Alex. And I'm sure a bunch of other people like Yuji and all these, and Yutaka would probably come out. That would be fantastic. I love to see that stuff. Alex Doe gifting 5 memberships to the channel. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. That's really great. Anybody here who's gifted a membership, get in the chat and give Alex Doe a big thank you. That's fantastic. Love your support. And it's going to some good stuff. Believe you me, on the back end, I'm working on so much to get stuff going. There's going to be a lot of content coming. And in this next week when we go to Texas, this is going to be a lot of fun. Because behind the scenes, I've been working on a lot of stuff to hopefully get a lot of attention going and moving stuff. Love your work, Clyde. Thank you. Nutcase. I love the way you spell. That's awesome. That's really cool. I like the name. Clyde, please do something. I love this. I get like my detractors, the haters or whatever. I get it all the time. The Clyde do nothing. You're Clyde do nothing. I mean, is Texas a family trip? No, it's not. It's a business trip. This one's a business trip. So this is all channel related. I love it because I got a few this week. And I almost replied. Like I normally don't reply to the things, but I almost replied because like, how is my week gone? So what have I done? I've done so far this week, not including tonight's live stream, 5 podcasts. I think about like 10 videos. I got in a car accident. I made it happen. I've been behind the scenes talking to so many people. Yeah, I do nothing. It cracks me up. I love it. So keep coming at me. People. It makes me want to work harder too. That's the best part. Is it motivates me. It motivates me more because it's fun. I love what I do, and you guys make it possible. So thank you all so very much. Thank you all, and even the haters. You guys make it possible. Thank you, haters. You're the busiest guy I know. I know there are busier. You wouldn't believe it, but I know people that are busier than me. I don't know how they do it. That's all they have is insults. Clyde as usual. Yeah. Insults are great. They're fun. I love taking them. Water off the duck's back though. That's the way you gotta live. You have a great channel. Thank you, Darren. I really appreciate that. That's really nice of you to say. Thanks, Clyde. Rocking it. Yeah, gotta have fun with it. Clyde, do something covered in blood, sweat, and tears. Literally this week. Oh, I had lots of red tears coming out of my face. Uh, Terminator Clyde. Yeah, there you go. You the best, Clyde. Thank you guys. You guys are fantastic. Clyde, not sure if you get into firearms laws, but do you think Pierre would do anything about the bans? Well, that's his stated goal. So here's the thing. Before we get on with this story, I'll just address this real quick. It's our job to make sure that the conservatives, when they get into government, do what they've promised that they were going to do. I've said it many times. I'm going to have to keep saying it, and people are going to be mad at me. People are already mad at me for not saying, for not pom-pom waving and all that stuff. If something, I don't like the way something's going, I'm going to speak out against it. And as soon as they get elected, it's going to be, okay, chop, chop. You were going to get on the firearms bans. You're going to get rid of that stuff. Let's go. Let's go. Happen now. Let's make it happen. We got you elected. We want you to do what you said you were going to do. Myronets for $2 says, "Crack Me Up" by Huey Lewis and the News. Brother, I love that song. I love that song. That's great. I wish I could play it, but it's like, copyright stuff, so they won't let you do that stuff. I don't like Carney. Can we have Trudeau back? No joke. I mark my words. Did I say it? I want Trudeau to go into the next election. He stepped down because they saw the writing on the wall. Scotty Carroll for $5 says, if the Conservatives win, would they reverse any anti-gun laws? I just went over that. I did just go over that. So I think it's our job to make sure that that's what they do. Do I think that they're going to unilaterally do it all by themselves? I mean, they might, but I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to be on them immediately. Clyde, do you think independent media is making more of an impact than legacy media? Absolutely. And it's making an impact on people who aren't typically voters. And this is why I think the conservatives need to get out on independent media. It doesn't have to be my channel. I mean, my channel would be a good supplement after people are interested in who Pierre is and want to check out political stuff. I think Pierre and all the MPs need to go out and go on like Mr. Beast type channels that are apolitical, that have young influencers that are doing young influencer stuff. Get out there and talk to new voters. That's what they need to be doing. Nutcase, becoming a member of the channel. Welcome to the community. Welcome. That's so awesome, Nutcase. Big laugh at the name, by the way. I love it. Where are we? We've got Steve Dion. I hope I pronounced that right. That looks like that's how that's spelled, with a $24.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's the first one on a live stream as well. Thank you so much. And I'm definitely going to put that to some good use. I buy my own wobbly pops. I'm going to put that towards making the channel better. Let's do this. Let's do this. Thank you so much. Can't say it enough. Clyde, I don't like Carney. Can we have Trudeau? Yeah, that was what you said earlier. Did you total your automobile? Yes, it's a write-off. Did you see Max Bernier was on the Alex Jones show? I did. I didn't watch that whole thing. I watched the whole one on PBD podcast, and it was like it was exactly what I was saying. It was exactly what I was saying, and this is what was so frustrating about it, because I think Max is a big grifter. And the more I learn about Max and the more I learn about the PPC, and I'm not talking about people who join the PPC and have all the right intentions. I think a lot of those people are just getting duped. That was a thing, but Max took this opportunity to do what Max does best and campaign fundraising, essentially. I honestly don't believe that he's looking to win anything. I think he's looking to get the Liberals back in. That's my opinion, and it's partially the fault of Pierre Poilievre and and his campaign team for not actually getting out there. So when the Americans have not heard from Pierre Poilievre, then they don't know what to say. They don't know what to think, right? And so, and before anyone says like, well, who cares what the Americans think? It matters what the Americans think, because the Americans talk about it, and then Canadians learn about it from American TV, American programming, all of this stuff. So it does matter. It does matter what the Americans think. So if Pierre's not out there telling people what he thinks, and he has someone like Max completely misrepresenting what his opinions are, this is bad news for Pierre. And I honestly don't think Pierre is the one behind it. I think it's conservative, PR teams. And that's why I say, like, PR Poilievre doesn't want to win the election. Pierre Poilievre, in fact, does. But I think, strategies, again, I'm not crapping on Pierre as like, don't get elected. I'm saying get elected. Let's see it happen. Daifeichu with a $10 super chat says, every time I'm on call for work. Wow, I got that mixed up. Every time I'm on call for work, I get called out during your live stream. Sucks, but gotta make some coin. Have a good one, my man. It's too bad. Well, I'm glad you made some of it. I'm glad you got to catch some of the live stream. That's for sure. Myron Ends gifting 5 memberships to the channel. Thank you so much. Wow, that's very generous of you. Thank you. Yeah, everybody who got a membership just now, make sure you give Myron Ends a thank you. So we finally found a great way to reward people who have a membership for the channel. So I've been doing a lot more of these podcasts, and the formatting is how it all works, right? So the reason why we started doing them live, I like doing interviews, and I would just usually record them privately and then publish them. Usually try to keep it under an hour for algorithmic reasons. And just, people see an hour, over an hour, and they don't click on it, and that's just the thing. But yeah, so what I started doing is actually just do them live. But then after the segment where I'd be recording, I would do a live Q&A. And it's great because anybody who wants to join it live can be there, and you don't have to pay anything. There's none of that stuff. But I always wanted to give something back to the people who become members of the channel. So what I did was I made it so you can watch the Q&As at your leisure. So the Q&A portion of any of these live streams, those will still be up on the channel. And if you're a member, you'll have access to all the lives previous. If you're not a member, you'll probably only see the Friday night lives as lives that are available to watch after the fact. And that being said, the other ones, they still get published as videos, but it won't be the live. So anyone who becomes a member, this is the big perk to being a member of the channel. So thank you all so very much. Kanja becoming a member of the channel. Thank you. And there's that perk that you're going to get for supporting the channel in this way. It's very, very important to, a lot of this costs money to put together. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort, and then there's equipment associated with all of this stuff. So it's very much appreciated. It's not a small gesture. It's very much a big thing, and I thank all of you so very much for that. Jam with a $5 super chat says, anonymous official has vids on Elon saying we need UBI, carbon tax, etc. This is why Carney will be easy for Trump to work with. Elon WEF, same agenda. I disagree wholeheartedly. I think that a lot of these guys from California, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, a number of them, they from their position thought that this might be a good idea. And was it hubris? Was it just, they're too busy and wrapped up in what they're doing, and they were on the left, and all the lefties were in California speaking about the same thing, and they kind of just fed into it. But they've all sort of woken up in recent time, and what I see is people actually waking up to it and not being on board with those ideas anymore. rather than them just like masking it, and that's actually a secret agenda. I see it more, and I think Joe Rogan's actually articulated that point where he said, you know, I used to think that way. I don't think that anymore. And that's probably a good way of looking at it. So I really don't believe that they're on board for the UBI or any of that stuff, because they're, especially Elon Musk, he's in a perfect opportunity to do that at the moment, and he's not taking any advantage of the situation to do or implement something like that. What's your thoughts on Elon's major land grab to build his utopian community called Snailbrook? I don't know anything about it. I'll look into that. Trump wants to work with Carney because he has a list that might convince him to play ball with Trump. That's an interesting angle that I hadn't considered. Elon said UBI would likely be necessary if robots took over most jobs, which I don't believe would happen. I think just like the Industrial Revolution, the Agricultural Revolution, and a number of these other events in history, they all thought that people would be useless eaters and they'll have nothing to do. What are we going to do with those people? We've heard it all before, folks. We've heard it all before. So I don't think that's going to be a thing. Snailbrook is going to be in Texas. Might be a good opportunity to check it out. It might be a good opportunity. I am relocating to Texas. So if I don't get it on this trip, there'll be many opportunities for me to check that kind of thing out in the future. That's the thing. The AI revolution. This is going to be an AI revolution. It's going to be an interesting one. I can't wait to see how it pans out. I hope we all don't get murdered by robots. I don't think that's going to be the case, but that's the thing. Everybody needs a purpose. Absolutely. You're not gonna UBI our way out of this one. No. And I think that's probably what, yeah, Skynetted. Canada. Sorry, just trying to finish this one off. I have another one sitting there that's getting warm, and it needs to be in a thing. AI Clyde trying to distract us. Nothing to see here. That's right. Real Clyde's over there having a nap while you guys are watching the AI Clyde live stream. Here we go. Getting back to this story. However, expect Ottawa will quietly fold shortly after the vote to ensure that ongoing relations with the U.S. remain functional. So is this the secret agenda? Is this the secret plan to make everything go good for Mark Carney? Is this his secret plan so he can talk big and then capitulate to Trump? Okay, here we go. Did you hear? This is Mike Barrett talking about this in a video format. So here he is.
We've now seen the leaked Liberal plans from the media company that employs Mark Carney's top advisor, Gerald Butts, that employs Mark Carney's wife, and until a couple days ago, employed Mark Carney's star candidate, Evan Solomon. And it says that after the election, Carney will quietly fold and give in to Donald Trump's demands. We're talking about the unjustifiable.
Stop it. Everybody stop doing that. Stop saying unjustifiable. It's really getting on my nerves at this point. Samuel Specht with a 279 super chat. The EDARCA. I can't say that word, man. I can't believe you're allowed to type that out. That's okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So I can't stand this. This actually aggravates me. This aggravates me because this isn't true.
Demands. We're talking about the unjustifiable and unacceptable tariffs that Donald Trump is looking to put on Canadians, specifically on Canadian cars and car parts.
Okay, what are the tariffs? I'm gonna throw this one out there. Chat, do you guys know? Do you guys pay attention to the channel enough? I don't know. I don't expect everyone to watch every video that I put out. That's unrealistic. But just throw it in the chat if you know what the Canadian tariffs on cars is. Do you know what the Canadian tariffs on cars incoming into Canada is? Anybody? Throw it in there. We're gonna get it. Boom. Into the chat. Get it in there. Does anybody know? It's over here. It's chat's over here. I've seen it. Oh, one person's got it correct so far. Oh, 2 people got it correct so far. 3 people. Oh boy, 4 people. 5 people. 6 people got it correct. 7 people got it. 8 people. 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, 13, 14. No, 13, 14. 15. 16, 17, 18. Yes, a lot of you got it correct. No, if anyone who answered 25%, no, that is what Trump is proposing that they put on Canadian-made automobiles going into the United States. In fact, Canada has 45% tariffs on the United States. So when I hear the words unjustifiable, I want to scream. I want to scream. What do you mean unjustifiable? What does it mean about your 45% tariff then? Is that unjustifiable? Perhaps. Like, just please spare me, folks. Spare me. Alex Spindler with a $5 super chat. Elevate put out a video. Apparently there is a carve out for Canada on the car tariffs because of USMCA. That's correct. What the media is not telling you is that 25% tariff actually starts at 2.9% and then scales depending on the situation. Now, is this the responsibility, or is this because of Mark Carney? Is this because of cars under USMCA have linked? 45 is documented. It's documented in Global Affairs Canada. This is where the stats came from. So in the USMCA, yeah, so when Trump came with the I have to explain this again. So this is where I have to come in and explain this again. So the first round of tariffs that came in, because the media is being dishonest with you. There are 2 sets of tariffs. The first round of tariffs is a punitive 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico if they don't capitulate to Trump's demands surrounding security, fentanyl, and military spending. This is what it is. It's not like they keep saying, oh, he's waffling and he's doing this and he's changing his mind, he's doing that. No, he's making carve-outs for people who negotiate with him. So what happened? Danielle Smith goes to Mar-a-Lago, negotiates with him. What does he do? He makes a carve-out, makes it 10% on Alberta oil during this time that this tariff is going to be in place. What is Francois Legault and a bunch of the other premiers then finally do afterwards? They go down and they try to get their own carve-outs. And what does the automotive industry do? Well, the automotive industry and with the unions all got together, went down and negotiated and got their carve-out. And that's what this stuff is all really about. If 25% is unjustified, then 45 is super unjustified. That's what I'm saying. So actually, so that's the thing. So we keep hearing this retaliatory tariff talk, but this is what's coming next on April 2. And he didn't do it on April 1st because he didn't want people to think it's going to be an April Fool's joke. Yes, 45 from the USA. So that's the Canadian tax from the Canadian government on American products coming into Canada. That's the thing. There's a ton of tariffs that Canada has on the United States. And this is why this next round of tariffs is called the retaliatory tariff run. And this is going to go on every country in the world that has tariffs on the United States, trade barriers or whatever. They're gonna target those tariffs and they're gonna try. The purpose of this is for all the other countries that have tariffs and trade barriers to lift their trade barriers. Now you have to understand it from a perspective of this. The United States has a giant economy. And there are a lot of players that come to the table and they're saying this. They're literally saying this. Can we enter your economy? America says, yes, come be a player in our economy. And they go, great, get in there, guys, have fun, and reap the benefits of trading in the world's largest economy. And then the United States says, hey, by the way, can we get our businesses, can they come into your economy and trade? And they go, yeah, about that. We kind of don't want that. We don't want that, and we're really not going to allow that. That's just not going to happen. So wait a second, what? And for decades, this has been the case, and the United States has just largely went, yeah, okay, whatever. It's not worth the fight. We have so many other things to do. We're not going to focus on this. We're going to focus on other things, probably come back around to that. And then nobody ever does this. And when I hear this stuff about like Canada's had the greatest, or US and Canada have had the greatest trade deal in forever. Yeah, you had a deal. You had a great deal where you could enter the US economy with all the businesses, and it was unfettered open access. And well, not unfettered, but very open access, but not the other way around, not reciprocal. And this is the thing. So this is why I get really annoyed when I hear the term unjustifiable tariffs. It's aggravating, to say the least. Okay, Montgomery. Why won't it show me your whole name? Mahogany Trim, I think it's Canada, with a $5 super chat. How can Pierre change gun laws when the Senate and judges are dominated by liberal appointees? This is why we need a conservative majority to go into government. The reason why is because there are a lot of people that say, oh yeah, don't worry. Yeah, Rachel Gilmore is going to fact check all the numbers. I love that. Thank you for that. That's a joke I needed tonight. That lifts my spirits. But Mahogany. So this is the big point. There's a lot of people that are feeling cynical, and they look at the institutions. They say it's rigged. It's not good. It's not working for us. Well, the only way to find out if that's the case or if that's not the case is to vote in a super majority of conservatives and have all kinds of bills like repealing all the gun laws come in through the parliament, get passed unanimously, or not they're probably not going to be unanimous, but at least with a super majority and with a mandate from the people. And then they go to the Senate, and if they get squashed, we'll know exactly why. And that's when that could, I don't know, trigger a constitutional convention to change the Senate and make it an elected Senate. That might be an option. There's a bunch of things that might come up about that if that were the case. If we were to actually have a situation in Canada where we put it to the test. If we vote the Liberals in, we'll never know. We'll never know, and the opportunity may not come up for. I'm not gonna lie. I think if Carney gets elected, he's the last Prime Minister of Canada. Not gonna lie, or at least Canada won't be the same country with the same amount of land mass. Let's just put it that way. Here we go. Where are we? Cody E, member for 32 months, says, tuning in late, did you see the commie party on CPAC today? Did you see what she had on her jacket? A watermelon, a effing watermelon. No way. Oh, I gotta find that. Just give me a second here. I gotta find this. We are gonna get back to the Trump story. Don't you worry. But I have to find the Communist Party with the watermelon. You're kidding me. On CPAC. That's hilarious. I gotta see this to believe it. CPAC. Where are we? No way. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Where is it? Where's the Communist Party? The Communist Party of Canada leader holds a press conference in Ottawa.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth.
She does have a watermelon. Oh my goodness. You can't can't make this up, folks. Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. Oh, come here. I want to show you guys this. Can you look closely? Oh, does it zoom in? It's oh man, somebody write James Dallingpool about this. This is funny. Holy moly, that is too good. I don't care what she has to say. She's a commie. But she's got a watermelon pin. What is that? No way. Oh, that is so funny. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that with me. That is too good. That is way too good. Oh, that cracked me right up. The new age with the $20 super chat says, Clay, I think that's an autocorrect. Clyde, I'm with you all the way. Super majority. Here we come. I'm 22 and I'm voting. Awesome. Tell all your friends. I'm just laughing at the watermelons. They're killing me. Tell all your friends. Get out. Vote. We got to make this happen. I wish the conservatives were as eager about campaigning as the rest of us. Oh man. Oh, I wish they were. I absolutely wish they were. Oh, you guys are great. Thank you so much for the laughs. Holy cow. That's great. Cass Awakening for $5 says, anyone worried about the Senate? Look up Salisbury Convention. The Salisbury Convention, is that where they invented the hamburger steak? I don't know. I kid. The Salisbury Convention. What was this? The Salisbury Convention, officially called the Salisbury Doctrine. The Salisbury-Addison Convention, or the Salisbury-Addison Convention, is a constitutional convention in the United Kingdom under which the House of Lords should not oppose the second or third reading of any government legislation promised in its... Oh, okay, it cut me off. Is a constitutional convention... I'll pop this up here. Reg with a $2 super chat. I'm genuinely worried about the Liberals winning. You're not kidding, brother. You're not kidding. I'm genuinely worried too. And for all those people that are saying the polls are bull, the polls are rigged, and it's blah. Please don't keep telling yourself that. Work hard. Get the word out. This is going to be a fight. You gotta fight. Just saying that they're rigged is what does that do? Does that tell you to be motivated by saying that it's rigged? Typically when people say it's rigged, they just think, oh, I don't need to bother because it's actually the other. Nah, I wouldn't say so. I say get out there, volunteer if you got to, be a scrutineer, because that's where, if anything's rigged, you want to be catching stuff. Volunteer. Go door knocking, go whatever, find out what you can do. Call your associations nearby. Call the party you want to support. You know, get involved. How do we kick communism out of Canada? Well, we do it this way. We keep trying. We keep working. And we hit it from every angle. And the angle I'm going to hit is from the south. I'm working on it. So this the Salisbury State Convention. I mean, sorry, the Salisbury Convention. I'm all over the place. Constitutional Convention in the United Kingdom, under which the House of Lords should not oppose the second or third reading of any government legislation promised in its election manifesto. The origins of the convention date back to the 19th century, at which time the Conservatives held a majority in the House of the Lords. And with the support of the 3rd Marquis of Salisbury, developed the referendal. Am I reading that right? The referendal theory, which applied solely to liberal legislation, under which the House of Lords could obstruct legislation until it had received a majority approval at a general election. It was changed following the landslide Labour Party victory in the 45 general election, which produced a Labour government seen as having a popular mandate for sufficient reform, while once again there was a Conservative majority in the House of Lords. The 5th Marquis of Salisbury, grandson of the 3rd, wow, these are legacies, announced that the Lords would not seek to thwart the main lines of Labour legislation provided it derived from its party manifesto for the previous election. From this point, manifesto bills were only to be adjusted by the Lords. However, in non-manifesto bills, the Lords were able to act as they had before. Interesting. The prior practice. Very interesting. I need to learn more about it before I can formulate a good opinion. I still have a hilarious opinion about this one. That's for sure. Oh, you guys crack me up. You crack me up. That is so great. Anyway, let's get back to the story. So the story is the fact that Carney is supposedly quietly backing down on Thego with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. If you guys don't get off your arses, you're going to end up like we did in 2020, REUS. Remember, maybe never recover, ? Yeah. Get off your arses, man. Get moving. Make it happen. Colette saying, I really loved your interview with David Charalambos. David's such a great guy. He's so fantastic. Learning how to share our views with others might be our best shot at turning votes to the right. I definitely agree with you there. Learning to better communicate with people who are in a predisposition to dig their heels in and disagree with you. It's really incumbent on us to get past the brainwashing. That's a thing. Anyway, I had my tirade about the unjustified blah blah blah. Let's get back to what's being said in this video.
Looking to put on Canadians, specifically on Canadian cars and car parts. Now, we've said that we're going to stand shoulder to shoulder with Canadian auto workers. We're going to stand shoulder to shoulder with all Canadians against these unjustified and unacceptable tariffs from the Trump administration. But now we see that Mark Carney is planning to quietly fold to those demands so that he can have an easy ride if he were to be elected as Prime Minister. We've seen that Carney is prepared to do what Donald Trump says. We saw just 6 days after Trump first threatened Canada that Mark Carney moved the headquarters of Brookfield from Canada to the US. This is a guy who created investment funds.
I just want to say the unjustified part annoys me, but everything else he's saying is right. Everything else he's saying is correct.
That were sheltered from Canadian corporate taxes. And now he claims, well, he needs Canadians' votes, that he's going to put their interests first. You just can't believe anything that Mark Carney says. You know, he says he knows how the world works. What he really means is he knows how to make the world work for himself and his rich buddies, and everyday Canadians are going to pay for it. Conservatives are going to stand up to the unacceptable terms that have been set by Donald Trump. We're going to stand shoulder to shoulder with Canadians, and we're going to get a plan passed that puts Canada and Canadians first.
Clyde, your face says how many feel now. Totally. Stop with this rhetoric. You know, why don't we just say, like, you know, I mean, what would they say if Donald Trump were to come in and say, you know, historically, Canada has been a very unacceptable trade with America. It's just historically been an unacceptable country. I mean, it's the same logic, right? It's the same logic. Unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable. Unjustifiable. You're too far biased in favor of the U.S. You ignore the things they do, like hugely subsidizing agriculture. I don't ignore that. I haven't ignored that. And when people bring it up, I address it. Here's a great way to address it. If another country wants to make a product and make it cheaper for you, say they want to buy you lunch, are you going to say no? Why would you say no? Honestly. See, here's the thing. We're talking about economies at scale. So economies at scale, and Michael, lovely face, gonna get you off the screen. But, you know, what is the point of being a country that is isolated and has its own mini economy that is separate and isolated from everything else? Right? It really doesn't make sense. And America has tried to do this before in the past, and it never made sense then, and it still doesn't make sense today. And I'll give you an example. So back in the day, back in the turn of the 19th century, or turn of the 20th century, there was a bunch of farmers in Louisiana, I think Florida region, and they wanted to have a go at sugarcane farming. So they're like, yeah, we're gonna do the sugarcane. And well, it just so happened that at the time trade routes were being exploding, and people were coming in with all new kinds of products. And you know what? Those products were making everybody's life better. And American products were going out to other countries, and that was upping production for American workers and American companies. And so that's cheaper, nicer goods and more sales outbound. That's fantastic. This is a great thing. But those sugarcane farmers are like, wow, whoa, you know, they could grow sugarcane like weeds down in Central America. We can't compete with these guys. We just can't compete with them. It's awful. We need you to step in, government. And here's what we need you to do. We need you to put tariffs on incoming sugarcane so that people won't buy that sugarcane because it'll be more expensive than the sugarcane that we produce. So they'll buy our sugarcane. So the government's like, whoa, what a great idea. We'll just put some tariffs on the thing. We're going to make it expensive to buy sugarcane from Central America. Well, those sugarcane farmers didn't actually make it anyway. It turns out that wasn't the best thing for them to be doing. And they figured it out through just the market economy. And they were like, I guess we're not doing sugarcane anymore. So immediately they got rid of they didn't do that. No, they didn't do that at all. They kept the tariffs on, and they left those tariffs in place. So sugarcane from Central America was coming up, and it was coming up at a surplus. A tax was being added to it to the American consumer. Well, that sucks because it's unnecessary, right? Paul Ritz, the $10 super chat. So let me get this straight. Trump haters aligned Polyev with Trump. What are they saying now today after Carney? Yes, Clyde, Canada's tariffs are worse. Okay, that's two things. Yes, Canada's tariffs are worse. And the Trump haters are aligned with Polyev. Yeah, so it's this weird mix-up where it's like, Trump bad, and he's too much like Pierre Polyev, so let's compare him to Pierre Polyev. That's why Pierre's bad. But then Trump and Carney like each other, or at least he's saying that he likes Carney. And now they're like, mind explode. Like they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They haven't received their new downloadable content for the NPC hive mind. They're not sure what to do. That's where we're at. We're literally there. That's where we are. Thank you for the super chat, Paul. Appreciate that. But so here we are. So we're in a situation where the sugarcane farmers are no longer making sugarcane in Louisiana and Florida, but the tariffs still exist. So now Americans are paying more money for sugarcane unnecessarily. So then a bunch of years later, a bunch of years go by, and the government figures it's a good idea to start subsidizing things like corn for fuel and things like that. Well, then you end up with an excess of corn all over the market, and there's economic rule. If you subsidize anything, you'll get more of it. So if you put a bunch of money into poverty, you're just going to get more poverty. This is Milton Friedman's contribution to economics. It's a very, very simple situation, but yeah, you subsidize corn, you're going to get a lot more corn. But then what happens when you subsidize corn? You get all the other byproducts of corn too. So then you get this high fructose syrup that goes onto the market because people figured out, hey, I can make a sugar that's cheaper than that sugar cane that's taxed to crap as it's coming into the country. I don't know why it's so expensive. Oh, well, yeah, the whole historic sugarcane farmers thing, right? We talked about that. Okay, but anyway, why don't we just make food products with this stuff instead of real sugar? Okay, sweet. And then all the industry jumps on that. All the soda makers are like, high fructose corn syrup? Sweet. Let's make all the stuff out of that. Fast forward even further, you end up in New York State, New York City, where they want to tax sodas because people are so unhealthy because of the corn sugar that's in the soda. So there's a tax on the sugar that comes in, so they stop using the sugar. They subsidize this other thing. You're paying tax money to make the product cheap, and then it's so abundant and people are getting sick from it, so you tax the product. It's crazy. How about we just get rid of all of it? We get rid of all of them. Now, Trump's plan with the tariffs is to get rid of tariffs. He's using tariffs on other countries as an example of why that their tariffs suck. Because if tariffs suck when they're imposed on your country, it means tariffs suck for the other country too. And this is why we need to get rid of tariffs. And this is, I'm looking at Trump's plan here, and it's like, yeah, okay. They're using tariffs to two things. Punitive tariffs to get Canada to shape up, spend more on military, spend more on border security, actually crack down on fentanyl that's happening in the country, actually crack down on it. Have we seen any of that? No. We keep hearing unjustified, blah blah blah, and we don't hear any moves towards going towards the things that were the demands in the first place. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So, je suis en retard. I've been learning a bit of French from Marty. He taught me that one. Je suis en retard. I'm a little bit late. Was free trade ever free? In very few cases ever in history. Clyde, it's unjustified, these damn tariffs. Yeah. Pierre said he would drop all tariffs. I haven't heard him say that. I would like to see that clip. I would really like to, see that clip. That would be something else if that's absolutely true. But here's a perfect example. I shared this in my video this morning. And for those that didn't see that video this morning, or you haven't seen this on Twitter, I shared this out on Twitter as well. And this is a great video. I don't even know who this guy is. It was shared around by some other people. Elon Musk shared this. It's this guy is on point with this. Do you think Carney asked Trump if they'll do what? Sorry. Do you think Carney asked Trump that he will do everything he demands if you don't release the list? I don't know. That I don't know. I can't really, because I mean, I have to, you have to get inside someone's head to know things like that. So I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't. Timbo Tube with a $5 super chat says the summary of the equation is simple. Our leaders are being blackmailed by their handlers. Voting makes zero difference. I wish I was wrong. Well, okay, so why don't you do Pascal's wager then? Have you heard of Pascal's wager? So Pascal's wager, he was this idea, right? So he was a mathematician, Pascal. And it was the idea of, is there a God? And he couldn't say for certain that there's a God or there is no God. There's no physical evidence. There's no proof. This is something you have to have faith in. But he had this wager, and he said, well, how about I look at it like this? How about I act my whole life as if there is a God, and I do all the things that God would tell me to do, and at the end of my life, if there is no God, then whoops, I just lived as a good person. And if there is a God, well, it's so much better than the outcome if I had been wrong. And that's Pascal's wager. So why don't we can apply Pascal's wager to this scenario. You could believe that, voting makes a difference or voting makes no difference. So apply this logic. Act as if it does make a difference. Because at the end of the day, if you vote and it makes no difference, well, it was not much of an effort. It was not much of an effort. You registered, you got your name in there, you went out and you put a mark on a piece of paper, and you got to meet a bunch of people in the neighborhood, and you got to see the people from your area, your constituency, and you said hello on an afternoon. You even probably got to leave work with pay and get out of there and go vote, right? But the problem is, if you don't, and voting did matter, then you didn't contribute to a thing that actually mattered. So apply Pascal's wager to voting. That's my philosophy. Throw that one out there. So that's the thing. So sacrifice to the government just in case. No, what are you sacrificing by voting? What is your sacrifice? Now, like, other people are devoting so much time. They're going to AGM meetings. They're involving themselves with the party. They're door knocking. They're having conversations. They're speaking. They're studying about political ideology and how these systems work and all of that stuff. What are you sacrificing by voting? What is your ultimate sacrifice? You get paid by your employer to leave work, sign your name, and fill out a piece of paper. I think that's a good gamble, in my estimate. Timbo Tube with another 10. Thank you so much. He says, it's not about giving up, it's about waking up and not expecting some angelic leaders to save us. Got to get back to the basics. Recent BC election showed us all what's up. I will certainly vote for PP. Okay, so there you go. So you are doing the Pascal's wager, but in this, you're on point. You're right. We need to wake up, and we can't expect these they're not angels, man. They're not angels. And the more I learn about a lot of these people that get into politics, the more I'm disgusted with a lot of their motivations. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I hope things go in a particular direction, but I know, and I've been saying this, whoever gets in, we still have to keep on them. Hey, you made a promise. Keep up your promise. Keep your promise. Hey, come on. Hey, I'm just emailing you again today just to make sure you keep up with your promise. Hey, knock, knock, knock. I'm at your door. Remember all those emails that I sent you? They must have ended up in the spam box because you never got back to me. But anyway, now that you're here, let's get on that topic of that thing that you said you were going to do. And let's get that. Hey, it's halfway through the day and you still haven't got it. Cool. You know what? I even filled the paper out for you. Here it is. I just need you to sign on the document. Like, this is the kind of thing we got to keep on them. It's not, democracy isn't this system that you know, once every 4 years, you make a little mark on a piece of paper. There's a lot that is involved in making sure that this goes in the right direction. That's the thing. Trump fooled. Carney intimidated. Trump. Carney intimidated Trump. That's precious. Clyde, do something. My mother says she loves you. Please say hi to my mother, Karina. Say hi to Karina in New Jersey. Hi, Karina in New Jersey. Thank you so much for watching the show. I'm stoked that you love the show so much that your children are writing me and telling me to say hi to you. So hi, Karina from New Jersey. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Clyde can be a pretty good nag by the sounds of it. Yeah, I can be. If something needs to be done. So let's get into this. So this is the video that I shared on my video this morning. A video that it's in the inception of videos. A video in a video. This guy's absolutely on point. And I mean, I couldn't say this better myself. He sums it up all in a matter of a couple of minutes here. Right after I get to Timbo. Timbo's for 5 saying, expect the worst, hope for the best. Read Friedrich Nietzsche, Parable of a Madman. I promise you'll enjoy it. 100% United States of North America. Awesome. Wow. Okay, that's a great super chat. I really appreciate that. Marie Perrin saying, what did Carney offer Trump? That's a good question. But let's get into this. And then we'll get back onto that topic.
Whatever you think of Trump, his economic plan makes complete sense. The US has 36 trillion in debt. In 2025, they will spend 6 trillion, but will only collect 4 trillion in revenue. So they need to borrow 2 trillion, and this will increase their debt to 38 trillion. Trump economic plan is based on 3 levers. Number 1, cut expenses by 1 trillion, which is Doge, Elon Musk.
That's Doge.
He's targeting waste and fraud, like social security payments for people who are 150 years old. That is just fraud.
Yeah, you can't argue with
increasing revenue by 1 to 2 trillion through, number 1, tariffs. They will increase tariffs from 50 billion to 500 billion target. People will say, but other countries will retaliate. They will not be able to do it. The US is the biggest customer on earth. They consume 20 trillion every year. They are the biggest importer. They import 3 trillion every year. Plus, the current tariffs is actually not fair. Why should US cars...
The current tariffs are actually not fair. He nails it right here. Why should the U.S. cars entering Europe face 10% tariffs? Because that's a thing. They don't want to tell you that in the news, that's historically what it's been.
Entering Europe faces 10% tariffs, while the European cars entering the US just pay 2.5%. It's not fair. And because of the tariffs...
I want to make this larger so you guys can read the... I just realized that maybe some people have a difficult time with his accent. And that could be a thing. But I'll make it bigger so you guys can see the titles, the subtitles on this one. But this is the thing.
Changes. It now makes economic sense to build factories and businesses inside the US again. That means more jobs, means tax-paying businesses, and more foreign investment coming in. He will also increase revenue by deregulation. He will remove unnecessary regulations and rules, making it easier to do business, so business can grow faster, generate more tax revenues. He will also make this gold card, which is offering lifetime US residency for 5 million. I think at least 1 or 2 million individuals globally can afford it. So if just 10% of them, if just 100,000 people buy this card, that's 1 trillion in incremental revenue.
That's
the third
insane.
lever is he will reduce taxes. If he successfully cut 1 trillion in waste and expenses and add 1 to 2 trillion in revenue, the US will have a surplus. They will have more money than they want. So he will cut taxes. For individuals, anyone gaining more than 150K, he will make them pay 0 taxes. And on corporate taxes, he will go down from the current 21% to 15%, compared to the European average of 22%. France average is 25, I think, and Germany is 30. So at 15% corporate tax, the US will become one of the most business attractive countries on earth.
Yes.
Bottom line, this is exactly how government should...
Seriously, Canada used to have a really low corporate tax, and that was a way to get companies to move their headquarters to Canada. But and then also the benefit to having your company in Canada. Say you had a franchise, for example. In the United States, you have a corporate tax, but then they would if your headquarters was in the United States, every franchise out there would have to pay the U.S. corporate tax. So they would just move their corporate headquarters to Canada, and then it would get away from that. I think since then they changed the laws on the global corporate tax, but that was a big issue. But yeah, the idea is to bring companies back to the United States. And I say back to the United States because these are American. A lot of these are American companies. Now, maybe not, Toyota and Hyundai and that kind of thing. Those are strictly foreign companies, but that's the thing. Carla S., member for 19 months, says, we need free trade with the U.S. What's your take on Carney saying we won't deal with the U.S. when he says we had a great talk with Trump? Yeah, it's him posturing. It really is. And he's really bad at it. But I'm going to finish this video here. This is exactly how government should be run.
Be run efficiently. Because when you eliminate waste, the money can actually go where it is actually needed. To the elderly, to the sick, to people who cannot work. And that is the real purpose of government, to protect the weak. Very few countries have the political will to do it.
Well, I don't know if
it
that's
takes
the
leaders
main
with backbone,
reason for government,
charisma, and clarity of vision. Do you have leaders in your country pushing for real reform, or are they talking about non-relevant side topics?
What, you mean like tampons in the men's bathroom? Or are they talking about gay marriage? Are they talking about abortion? Are they talking about those things? Yeah, that's the non-relevant things that he's discussing here.
And let me know if you think Trump plan is bad. Let me know why, because I think it is just common sense.
Yeah, sounds a lot like common sense now. Done it. Welcome back, chat. Welcome back. Come on back. Come back over here. That's the thing. This is the common sense that we've been talking about. Now, this is why you'll see things like this. So George here puts this out, and he says, steel plants in Canada have begun laying off hundreds of workers due to President Trump's tariffs. This is what Pierre is trying to do by getting our economy to work. We're not going to get our economy to work if there's no business, if all the businesses are leaving Canada. And this is okay, I'll address that, because this is a perfect opportunity to address that. Instead of retaliatory tariffs and instead of threatening the United States, why doesn't Canada make lower taxes than the United States? Why doesn't Canada entice companies to come into Canada and work at a lower tax rate than they would be taxed in the United States? Why isn't that Pierre Poilievre's platform? Donald Trump's doing it in America, and the math checks out. It checks out because so many companies would flow in and leave these other places and come into the United States. They would come into Canada. It's crazy. There's two schools of thought here. There's, the Carney, Trudeau, all of those, cronies. They have this idea, the, Davos types. We'll give these companies money and they'll open up a plant. Well, how well did that work out? How well did that work out? We gave them billions and then they walked away. Well, after those billions of dollars you gave us of taxpayer money, it looks like we're probably still just going to open up our plant down in Toledo. That's the thing. Please watch the post that Pierre posted. It's called "It's a Time to Build a Canadian Economic Fortress." It's 7 hours ago. It will tell you what Pierre said about the USA. Okay, we'll get into that right after this, okay? So George says, steel plants in Canada have begun laying off hundreds of workers due to President Trump's tariffs. Meanwhile, companies are rushing to bring their operations to America to avoid tariffs. Not only to avoid tariffs, they're actually going to America to benefit from lower taxation as well. So that's a double whammy. So there's the tariffs, and then there's the double whammy of paying way lower taxes by just moving your operations. The CEO of Ontario's Algoma Steel, which is in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. I know this because my dad once worked for Algoma Steel, And I remember layoffs in previous times, in similar situations, right? The CEO of Algoma Steel says he expects a tidal wave of more layoffs to come. The director of the United Steelworkers of Canada, which is the union for Algoma Steel, estimates that 100,000 Canadian workers will be affected in the next few months. Now, affected versus laid off, those are, those can be slippery terms, right? But I know Pierre is his idea is to ensure that, like, make work projects to keep people employed by at least by a certain amount, that kind of thing. Now, that being said, I added this to the tweet. I said, here's the hard truth. The hard truth is it's our political class in Canada that's selling us out, not Trump. Trump is just trying to bring business back to America. Now, business that left America at one point because there was an overflow and there was too much work, and historical times like war times where they had their men fighting overseas and they had bleed over and they needed to build things in other countries. And now he's just saying, no, let's bring it all back, and we'll give you all the incentives to come back to America with lower taxes, and it will be even more taxes coming in the door if you do your stuff in other countries. Now, everyone at Algoma Steel would go right back to work if Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario were to join Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan and become part of America. This is real. That border moves a little bit north around Sault Ste. Marie, which is my birth town, by the way. I was born there. Income taxes would go down for these workers, and their cost of living would improve. They would all go back to work immediately. Or Canada capitulates by doing exactly what America's doing. Drop the tariffs, lower taxes, lower income taxes, be competitive. Be competitive, Canada. Compete. We're not being competitive. That's the problem here. That's the issue. And I like this. Terry I on X says Trump didn't give Canada a 69-cent dollar. Trump didn't give Canada crappy healthcare. Trump didn't let 4 million refugees into Canada. Trump didn't legalize killer drugs in Canada. Trump didn't double our debt. The Liberals did all this, make them pay in the polls. Make them pay. Timbo Tube with another 10 says Epstein Files, AIPAC, the dancing Israelis, and dark finance are things that currently hold our corrupt leaders together. Convenient relations start growing your own food and get the FO of our cities. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know about the dancing, but growing your own food, becoming reliant, self-reliant, these are all great things. That's fantastic. Do that. Gaetano with a $2 super chat says, we need to start building. US uses the most steel. So we should make steel, and we should stop taxing the absolute living crap out of the people who make it. Wouldn't that be great? What if there was a tax rebate? Like, what if we lowered our taxes and then we also on top of it put a tax rebate on tariffed items, where it's like, okay, well, why doesn't the Canadian government bite the bullet on this one? Why is it always the Canadian citizenry that has to bite the bullet on this one? That's what boggles my mind. It's like, oh, okay. When they say like Canada won't put up with it, it's like, wait a second. Canada is willing to sacrifice anything to get the thing done. Really? Canada's willing to sacrifice anything? Is Canada willing to, I don't know, renegotiate transfer payments from Alberta to the eastern provinces? Is that something that's on the table? Is that something you would do? If anything's on the table, would you perhaps, I don't know, consider allowing for a private option in medical so people can get their stuff sorted, like every other EOCD country in the world? Every country that has socialized medicine has a private option, except Canada. What else is on the table? Is anything else on the table? Perhaps, I don't know, getting rid of the dairy lobby so it doesn't piss off other countries so much, like it did with Britain just a year ago in January of 2024 when they walked away from the negotiation tables because Canada wouldn't budge on 250% tariffs on dairy. Wait a second, I thought everything's on the table. Why is it that none of that stuff is on the table? How about private pension plans? How about it? It's crazy. And it's so what's even nuts, even more nuts, is they're starting to tariff items that are reliant on people's pension plans. So people's pensions are invested in these things, and then the Canadian government's like putting excise taxes and tariffs on those. And it's like, what are you doing? You don't even know what you're doing. You don't even realize how ridiculous you guys are behaving. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans for $5 says steel tariffs can make the iron range great again. Could do. Maybe. I think just fair trade would be great. I think fair trade would be fantastic. And if Canada would figure that portion of it out, that would be really appreciated. Kimberly, a forest with a $5 super chat says, I just tuned in. Carney folded because Trump has dirt on Carney. Canadians need to know his conflicts of interest. RE USA. Just saying. So a lot of people are saying the dirt could be like some Epstein stuff. Is that a possibility? Maybe. Definitely what Pierre has unearthed could definitely be a portion of it. And Pierre should really double down on this one. I really think so. Because Carney's ties to China are unsavory to say the least, and definitely conflicts of interest as well, to say the least. I'm not to say the most, you know.
Hi, Pierre. I'm Surya from Y Media.
Yes, sir.
So, Globe and Mail has done a story on election interference on conservative leadership campaign. What are your comments on that?
Well, first of all, let's quote from that Globe and Mail article. I'm going to quote here. CSIS also did not have evidence that Mr. Poilievre or members of his inner circle were aware of these alleged actions. Then I'm going to quote the Hogue Commission, and I quote, the Commission heard testimony about allegations of the government India interference in the Conservative Party leadership race. CSIS witnesses noted that they had no reason to believe the impacted candidates would have been aware of the alleged support. Let's be honest. I won the leadership fair and square. Even my political competitors, like Mr. Patrick Brown, have publicly testified under oath that that was the case.
Yeah, it was the case. I was involved. Like, I wasn't involved in the leadership race, but I was paying very close attention to what was going on. And I knew Jean Charest was this liberal plant and all of the stuff. I was watching it very closely. There was nothing weird or suspicious going on with it. But this is where it's great, because this is where I think maybe if there is dirt on Carney, this is where it's going to come from.
I'm glad that the Liberals put this attack out today. Really glad. Because there's something that's really been worrying me. After Justin Trudeau named Mark Carney his economic advisor, giving him massive power over public policy in Canada, Mr. Carney went over for meetings in Beijing where he just had secret talks with the deputy governor of the Chinese central bank. 2 weeks later, Brookfield got a $250 million loan.
Ooh.
What did they talk about? What did Mr. Carney in his role as Trudeau's economic advisor offer China? Why would he be
$250 million? Like, that's $250 million is crazy. That is a big loan. What is that for?
Having secret meetings with top government-controlled bankers about getting a $250 million loan while he was supposed to be acting in Canada's interest as the Prime Minister's economic advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he be collaborating with a hostile foreign regime that we have since learned executed 4 Canadians and took numerous Canadians hostage for a lengthy period of time?
Yeah, he's talking about 2 Michaels, right? And that was a contentious story that broke, and what caused a lot of this stuff to come out. So the 2 Michaels that were held, I mean, for all intents and purposes, were hostages. They were imprisoned in China, and there was negotiations from a liberal candidate. This is the alleged negotiations from Han Dong was negotiating with Chinese officials, allegedly, because they were trying to free the 2 Michaels, the 2 men named Michael. They're trying to get them freed through diplomacy, and it looked like China was going to just let them go. And what's alleged by Han Dong is that, or alleged of Han Dong, is that he got in touch with his Chinese officials and he had them keep them in prison for longer because it was an election cycle and it would look good on the Conservatives, because the Conservatives have been pushing so hard to have them freed that if they were freed, that might be political clout for the Conservatives and they might win more seats. Now, this is an allegation and there's ongoing lawsuits over this stuff. But if that's true, can you imagine that a Canadian politician, for the interest of his own campaign, was speaking with Chinese Communist Party officials to keep 2 Canadian citizens in prison with no charges? It's disgusting. This is gross. This is disgusting stuff that's happening in Canadian politics.
And given that Mr. Carney knows that he still owns massive financial interests in Brookfield, which owes $250 million to a Chinese state-controlled bank, how do we know he's not going to act against our interests in favor of his financial interests? Why didn't he stand in front of this microphone and confess to Canadians that he owes the Chinese government that kind of money? Is this why he's covering up his financial interests? And given that China has murdered our people, taken our people hostage, how is he ever going to stand up to foreign interference when he is so financially compromised?
Mm-hmm.
We have never in our history had a weak, out-of-touch leader so terribly compromised.
Yeah, we did. We had Justin Trudeau. I'm sorry. I have to. We did. We had Justin Trudeau.
And conflicted, whose interests go against our national interests. And I call on Mr. Carney right now to come before a microphone today and explain if this loan is still in place and if he still has those Brookfield assets that he had up until a few weeks ago.
His name's not Hand Dong, it's Han Dong, like just H-A-N Dong. Oh boy.
Because we cannot trust someone. Could you imagine, while you're supposed to be advising Canada's Prime Minister on the well-being of our economy, going to a foreign regime that had executed Canadian citizens, taken Canadians hostage, that it had already been public that they had interfered in multiple elections. They've done incursions into our northern waters. Mark Carney will never be able to protect our national interests because he has massive financial conflicts of interest overseas. What we need now is not to give the Liberals a 4th term with a weak and compromised leader. What we need is a Prime Minister who will put Canada first for a change.
Fair enough. And thanks for posting that. Jasmine Lane posted that one on X. That's where I got that from. Thank you so much for that. And so I posted this today. We're getting into it. We're getting into the meat of it. It took us 2 hours to get into it. This is how it works on a Friday night live stream. Welcome. If you're new to the community, this is the way it works. This is how we do it. But that's the thing. Texas Tornado. I love the name. Look what Biden did to 2 astronauts just because it could have made Elon Musk look good. No kidding. And you know what? Elon Musk, when he did save those astronauts with all of the infrastructure that he built, and he did it with such, like, I got to say it. He didn't brag or boast or anything like that. He was just happy to get them back. And he didn't play any political cards, you know? It says a lot about his character. It really does. So that's, yeah, that's very true. That's very true. You see the same kind of ugly, disgusting stuff happening on both sides. Well, both sides of the border, not both sides of the aisle per se. But who knows? I think there are some ugly characters on both sides of the aisle as well. So I tweeted this one out and I said, are Canadians being primed for a 4th liberal term? Look at the polls, folks. Look at the polls. Now, a lot of people are going to tell me the polls are BS. Look at that. Their polls are BS. They're lying. Every one of them's a lie. Every single one of them is a lie. Even the independent ones. All of it. Cheap and Nasty with a $5 super chat says, the Patriots will never forget, and we are still friends with the USA. That's never going to end. And this is why I have the flags behind me. Like, check it out. So I have the flags behind me, and I get in a lot of crap, a lot of comments. They'll say, Clyde, you've hung the Canadian flag the wrong way around. It's upside down. That's not how you fly that flag. And it's absolutely right. It's upside down. But that's a sign of your country's in peril. That's the message of having the flag in that direction. But of course, I mean, we're friends. We're friends. This should always be a thing. It should always be a thing. And when Canada recovers, this flag's gonna flip around and it's gonna go the other way. But this is, I have to say, like, I wanted to put the flags up, and then I put them up before even all of this stuff started taking off. It was like, wow, okay, that's just interesting that's how it played out. Welcome back, chat, by the way. Welcome back. So here we go. The polls are going in this direction. It's not looking good for the Conservatives at this point. Now, a lot of the support is coming from losses to the NDP and the Bloc Québécois. Some of the support from the Conservatives. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you, the fix is it. It's a big old, they're fixing the polls. This, blah, blah, blah. I want people to know that for months, when Trudeau was still prime minister and the sentiment started getting really bad for him and his approval rating was tanking, and so many people were saying the same thing. They were writing their MPs, and I'm talking liberal MPs. They were calling and writing their liberal MPs, and they were saying, we like you, but we don't like your leader. And because we don't like the leader of your party, and it's a British parliamentary system, there's a Westminster parliamentary system that we've largely stepped away from, and we have a whole bunch of new rules and different stuff, but it's still, the prime minister's chosen the same way. It's the leader of the party that has the most seats becomes the prime minister. And they all said, all these people were telling these MPs, they were saying, if he's the leader, we're not voting for you. And so what happened? A mutiny happened. A mutiny happened in Ottawa, and they ousted Justin Trudeau. And it was because of that. Because they knew that the tanking of the Liberals in the polls was specifically about Justin Trudeau. Now, was it Justin Trudeau alone that caused all the damage to Canada? No. Convince those people that. Convince these people in the polls that. Convince them that. That's a hard one. Try to tell them that Donald Trump isn't the big bad orange man they think he is. Good luck with that one too. But this is the reality. This is the reality. They shed Justin Trudeau, and a lot of Liberal support is literally coming back. So therefore, don't just dismiss this and go, ha, ha, ha. That's just the pollsters being biased and all of and they're totally sacrificing all of their integrity just to make people think that the Liberals are going to win. When the election happens, they won't actually. Why would they do that? Now, some people will. Don't get me wrong. I think it was Epsos, totally. But that being said, people are voting for the 51st state. Well, if they vote for Carney, they are voting for the 51st state. That's for sure. The only difference is Carney. You're right. But that's not the optics. That's not the optics, and that's not what they're trying to sell. And they're trying to sell. They're basically trying to repackage and sell the Conservatives' platform under a liberal banner with all the same team, all the same people. So don't discount these polls, because if you do, you're doing it at your peril. Take it seriously. And what that means is that you got to get out and talk to people. You really got to get out and talk to people and tell people that no. When Carney came in, he came in as damage control for Justin Trudeau, and it's largely working. So that's a thing. Now, that being said, here's I'll get back to Donald Trump's statement on Truth Social. I just finished speaking with Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada, our unelected Prime Minister. It was an extremely productive call. We agree on many things, and we'll be meeting immediately after Canada's incoming election to work on elements of politics, business, and all other factors that will end up being great for both the United States of America and Canada. Thank you for your attention to this matter. What does that mean? Is that an endorsement of Mark Carney? Is that an endorsement of Mark Carney? That's what a lot of people are saying. Now, that might be a stretch to say that that's an endorsement of Mark Carney, but it's not like Donald Trump hasn't said in recent times that he basically wants a liberal in office. Here he is talking about that right here.
The Liberal Party is going to win now in the next election, most likely. And they were down and out. Isn't that going to make them more hostile to us and possibly
I'd rather deal with a liberal than a
for
conservative.
China, closer to Canada, and that would really put us in a bind.
The conservative that's running is stupidly no friend of mine. I don't know him, but he said negative things. So when he says negative things, I couldn't care less. I think it's easier to deal actually with a liberal.
It's easier to deal with a liberal. It's easier to deal with a an interviewer that doesn't talk over you. Sorry, this is supposed to be a friendly interview too. This is Laura Ingram. I don't know why she was talking over him instead of letting him answer. That's one of those things. I don't know. As a person that does interviews all the time, when I watch interviews, that's the thing that annoys me. If you ever catch me doing that, call me out on it. Gov Code Reader for 279 says the polls just prove Canada is 2 countries. Alberta 51. I like the sentiment. Like I do like the sentiment. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about the sentiment of that. As you know, I've had Keith Wilson on the show recently to talk about that. He's onto something. He's definitely onto something. I think so. And if Carney gets in, that is a vote for the separation of Alberta from the country Canada, in my estimate. I really do think so. But yeah, here's the tweet. So he says, Canada, I was an extremely productive call. We agree on many things and will be meeting immediately after Canada's upcoming election to work on elements of politics, business, and other factors. So by saying that, he's saying that he's he'll be meeting with Carney after the election. Why would he meet with Carney if Carney doesn't win the election? Carney's going back to Europe if he doesn't win the election. That's the thing. Peter Whitten for $2 says it's easier to deal with Carney than a king. I suppose, maybe, than a king. Brian Oliver for $5 says Trudeau was a clown. He's just a clown. Carney is the whole circus. Yeah, he absolutely is. It really is a crazy thing. Peter Whitten for another $2 says Pierre for King of Canada. Never. I don't know. I think it's because I'm American that I just have a knee-jerk reaction to monarchs. Nope. No kings. No kings. Canadian Crusader for $5 says Trump says Pierre said bad things, so he doesn't like him. He has heard what Carney has said. See, that's the thing. This might be a tactic. I don't know. I can't get inside his head, but it sounds like a tactic. But here's the deal. If Canadians keep going down the path that they're going, so all of this smack talk about America, booing the national anthems, stupid, and I say stupid because it's stupid, petulant, childish stuff like this, like covering up whiskey bottles and with black curtains and saying buy Canadian instead. Like, it's crazy. This is why when Marty and I, we bet on an American whiskey bottle because it was more valuable. It had more value to it. It's petulant. It's childish. And here's the thing. If a liberal gets in and Trump wants to really beat on Canada, he'll have more support to do it with a liberal in office than if they have a conservative. If Canadians vote conservative, Trump loses a lot of his ability to have the American public have a stomach for making moves against Canada. Exactly. Dumb AF. Yeah. I think it's a really bad move, Canada. It's a really bad move. And here's the thing. Again, if... So here's the threats, right? You got to look at it this way. Here's North America, right? You've got this little place all the way over here, Ottawa, and Quebec, because they got a lot of political clout and power. Peter Whitten for $5 says, I'm just being ridiculous in a good way. Pierre for King, I love the community. Comedy will heal. No, I get you. I just like, as soon as I hear King, I'm like, it's like my knee-jerk reaction is just, it's kind of like getting the old hammer on the knee. It's just, sorry. No kings. I can't believe we still have the monarch attached to our country. How have we not shed that yet? It's a crazy thing. But here's the map, okay? So here's the map. Here's Ottawa, way over here. And they're the ones who get to dictate, and they're trying to dictate, and they're talking about dictating what people all the way over here, who they get to trade with. When these people over here are not very friendly with the people over here, generally, and they're very friendly with the people right here and all the way down here. You know, like, it really is this. And meanwhile, we've got Carney coming in and saying, oh, well, you know what, you're not going to be allowed to trade here, and in fact, we're going to get your products and we're going to move them all the way over here, except oil. Not oil, that's going to stay in the ground, but all the other widgets and doodads that you guys make, because that's precious, send them all the way over here, and then we're going to ship them, I don't know, all the way over here, right? And we're going to base our entire economy on doodads and widgets, not energy, not natural resources like, I don't know, metals and all kinds of minerals that we can get out of the ground. No, none of that stuff. It's all going to be, I don't know, products and services and widgets. That's all it's gonna be. Not the things that Canada are completely abundant with, and we're gonna force you to do that. Well, that's not gonna fare well. It's really not gonna fare well for the people right around here that culturally share a lot of the lines with the people. You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Canada is not... There's a big divide. There's a big divide there. King Charles has cancer, or he is cancer. Oh, he has. Sorry. My bad. I get, yeah. Yikes. I don't have a lot of nice things to say about royalty, but that's that. Anyway, getting back to the theme of the stream. The theme is, this is, by the way, this is an actual image of Mark Carney calling the president Donald Trump this morning. Here he is. Again, if you didn't get the joke in the title of the stream, I don't know. I don't know what makes you laugh, but I thought it was funny. Definitely Donald Trump grabbing Canada by the, well, you know, that's right there. Here's the deal. This guy is talking a big, tough game, and that's all it is. It's just talk, and talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. But when you're saying stuff like this, it's just ridiculous.
We will need to ensure that Canada can succeed in a drastically different world. The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over.
Is over.
We will need to ensure
our relationship with the United States is over. Like, talk about pulling out all the stops. Like, this is the drunk girlfriend at 2 a.m. after the bar and after pizza, like after a bad, you know, moment at the pizza shop, and in front of everybody is like, yeah, I'm breaking up with you. You and me are finished. You know, this is what that is. That's what that is. That's absolutely what that is. You can't unsay it. You can't unsay it. It's been said. Everybody saw it. Everybody's eating their pizza going, oh man, that guy, the poor guy, you know? What are you doing, lady? Oh man, just lay off all the Jaeger bombs. You know? That's that. That's what just happened there. And it's unbelievable. That's so funny. That's the scenario. Chili peppers with $5. Carney can't win. He'll lose Canada to the extremists. Which extremists? Listening to him talk is like a snooze fest. Pierre is slaying for the win. PP for PM. Yeah. I hope Pierre wins. I'm not kidding. I don't know why people kept misinterpreting my criticisms of Pierre's campaign for me not wanting Pierre to win. Like, my criticisms of campaign should do better, work harder, get the win. That's what I want to see. But you can't go and say stuff like this and then have a conversation that ends up with this, because that is not the result of talking about the end of the relationship with the United States of America. That isn't the result of that. That's the result of after the night at the pizza shop, after the night and all the tears that you came crawling back. You came crawling back in your cat suit. And you made your statement. In fact, I got to pull it up because this reminds me of something in particular. You guys will get it. How do I find it? I think I'm sure I can find it. Oh, I gotta be able to find it. Yes, this is the one. This is absolutely the one. Started at the beginning.
Hey, sorry I missed your call. I was just calling you back to let you know that I love you and I miss you. I really want you to call me back. And I'm sorry I missed your phone call and that I know you're done. So when you get this, can you call me back? I love you and I miss you.
That is some high octane groveling right there. Check that out. That is some serious stuff. And that is the likes of what I am sure came out of this man today when he got on the phone with Donald J. Trump, the president, the 45th and 47th president of the United States of America. And he came in after his drunken night at the pizza shop, after too many Jaeger bombs and makeup pouring down his cheeks, saying, "We're done. I'm finished with you. We're over." This is how it went down. This is absolutely what the situation looked like this morning, and the reason why Donald Trump left a message saying that he looks forward to dealing with Mark Carney in the future after the election in Canada. That was a big preamble for the main theme of tonight's stream, but that's my opinions on that one, and I would love to hear your opinions tonight. We're going to be hanging out after this in the Discord server. If you guys are unfamiliar with what Discord is another social media app where it's like chat rooms and all that kind of stuff, so you guys can come hang out. I'll be in the Discord community. The chat link is right there. We only release the chat link or the Discord link during the live streams on Friday, and we do this for a particular reason. We want to keep bots and trolls and all those people out of the community, so we only release it when we're doing the Friday night live stream. So post it in there a couple more times, Solar, just so as it goes by in the chat, if people missed it, they can catch that link one more time. But this is this is where we carry on the chat, and you guys can talk with each other. We can keep the community thing going. There's that link one more time, and that's the thing. Sorry, this cracked me up. This is what just went down today in Canadian politics. It's funny. It's embarrassing. It should be embarrassing. If you're Canadian, I think you should be embarrassed for your political class. And this is where we're at. Let's hope we get some more serious people in power. And if not, well, you're going to see that. And subsequently with Sask and Manitoba as well. And it's going to put Canada in a really hot spot. So this is a what a night. Man, I hope you guys enjoy these streams. If you do, make sure you hit that like button on your way out of here tonight as we finish up. Make sure that like button's been hit, and make sure you share it out. Make sure share the videos on the daily. Make sure to try to engage with them as much as you possibly can. It's very helpful to the channel. So if you just watch the video, that's great. That's fantastic. It's great. It's the greatest, right? That's fantastic. But make sure you engage with it. Hit that like button. Also, go down, leave a comment. You could even share. These are all great things. It helps out tremendously. It really does. And this is what keeps the channel soaring. I mean, crazy. The past couple of days, like another 1,000 new members or new subscribers to the channel. It's fantastic. I love watching this growth. You guys are so fun to hang out with, and this is why I keep doing it. It's like it doesn't feel like work. It is a lot of work, but it doesn't feel like work. So this is what keeps me going. This is what keeps me motivated. So Waniska with another 10. Thank you so much for that super sticker right at the end. Yes, safe trip. I'll be going to Texas, but keep paying attention to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell because there might be some odd timed uploads. You don't want to miss those too. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff. Some live streams, some man on the street, out on the street stuff. We're going to be doing some really cool things when I'm down there in Texas. We'll be traveling around all over the place. Fort Worth, Houston, Austin. We got some things planned. So the Discord link is expired. Well, I'll make sure that you... Sure? Really? Let me make sure that you guys get one that isn't expired before I get out of here, because that would be awful. Let me just make sure in the mod chat, and the one right above is the correct one. Let me just make sure. Okay, I'm gonna share it here. Copy the link. Post it here. Check this before I finish the live up. Somebody check this and make sure that this link, if it's expired, I'll make a new link. I'll make it work. So for people that are trying to get in. But yeah, safe travels. Thank you so much, Quantum Life. I appreciate that. Yep, just tried. Watch you're the best news reporter. Thank you so much. Keep her shiny side up, Hong Kong. I like that. How does Discord work? It's like a chat room app. It says it's invalid. Okay, so I'll make a new link. I don't know what wrong. Sometimes yeah, there's just glitches. So let's do invite. Copy the link and double check that this one works. I'm just hidden use coffee. Get out of here. Copied. Is it really gonna just say hidden? Yeah, it just says hidden. Get out of here. Stop that, Discord. Stop being like that. Let me do this. I just want to make sure that the invite does go out to people. So here we go. there's the actual link. Solar, can you do me a favor and make sure that the link does work? And then once I know that that does work and everybody has access to it, we'll get things going. Good stream. Thank you so much. Drive safe. Enjoy Texas. I'll be flying. And yeah, so, well, I will be driving down to the airport. Thanks, Clyde. Have a good night, brah. Nope, it worked for me that time. Awesome. Please make sure you watch Pierre's YouTube stream about the USA. I'm going to. Thank you for the reminder. I'm actually gonna pop that on my screen now so that I don't forget. Oh, there's. I don't want to get rid of some of these windows. Let me just get that up here before I move on so that I know that I've got it. Which one is it? I think, okay, I will find it. I will find it. It's a commercial, right? Okay, I'll get that. Jeffrey Drake becoming a member just at the last minute. Thank you so much for joining in. That's amazing. David Alod saying, Clyde, do something. Wyatt is going to Texas. Really? Wyatt's going to Texas too. That's crazy. You'll have to fill me in on that. Absolutely. Wyatt's awesome. I can't wait. I love hanging out with Wyatt. He's got the best suits. Wait, what? When? Monday. Well, I'm going to Texas on Monday. So, but I'll be back in 10 days. That's a thing. Davy Crockett. Okay, so everybody got the link. It's available. Oh, 1 second. I got an alert. I'm going to say mark it as resolved. Other reason, lots of people are joining the server. Marked it as resolved. Okay, we're good. So if anybody got stymied on that one, just hit that link one more time, get in there, and you're good to go. And I'll be hanging out in the chat with everybody, but it's about everybody else having a chance to get their opinions out there. I missed you tonight, Clyde, but I'll check her tomorrow. Yeah, check her out tomorrow. Steve's hide, but if you want, I'll be in the Discord. So come on over. The link is right there, and we're gonna be hanging out there for probably a couple of hours actually. I love hearing what you guys have to say, and I'm an extrovert, so I just get energy from it. Like I don't fade out. It's just not a thing. So head on over. We're gonna have some fun, and I'm gonna close this out. You guys are fantastic. It's been a lot of fun. You've been so supportive this week. I want to thank you all actually for the support that you gave and the kind words that you gave to me after I was involved in a car accident. And I'm not kidding. I'm so lucky to be alive today. And it's all your guys' kind words that really keeps me going. I think it rejuvenated my passion. Not that my passion was fading at all, but it really stepped it up to another intense level. So thank you all for that. That's a personal thank you from me to all of you on that one. And on that note, I want to say to all of you, keep on trucking. Keep on trucking.